CBS News correspondent Elaine Cobbe joins us from Paris with the latest on all of this. And we just heard their reference to what has been a scandal-ridden election, very unusual in general for the French public. I'm just wondering, what is the reaction in Paris today to yesterday's results and what the expectations are?
Errol, the reactions have been mixed. Mostly there's been a lot of relief that the centrist candidate Emmanuel Macron won, and won so easily. He beat Marine Le Pen, which has reassured many people, including the markets in France and across Europe. Now, there is also concern, however, that for the first time, the mainstream parties are out of a major political race. And that has people very concerned about what will happen next. We have legislative elections in just 7 weeks' time. So far today, many of those on the left and the right have been urging their supporters to vote for Macron in the second round. So for 2 weeks, they'll all be pulling together to try to have him elected to keep Marine Le Pen out. And then it'll be back to business as usual with left versus right, both of them in disarray, having had such a poor showing in this election.
And I guess because the established parties did so badly, people are wondering how much history is really an example. Analysts are already saying Le Pen, for example, has no chance of winning in May's runoff. But could they be making the same mistake as happened here in the United States with inaccurate polling that was so close it was within the margin of error? Estimations that were that President Trump wouldn't make it to the White House. We know that things obviously turned out differently. Is there that type of concern there in France?
Well, the opinion polls taken before this first round that gave the possible scenario of a second round runoff between Macron and Le Pen said that he could beat her easily. She does have a ceiling of support, really. She's got about 30% of the country behind her. She didn't get them all in the first round, but it would be dangerous to suggest that's not a problem and that she automatically will be defeated. The May 7 runoff is a holiday weekend, and there are a lot of left-wing voters in particular who don't really like Macron. They feel he's far too centre or even centre-right, and they might just go away for the weekend and not vote at all. If there's a high abstention rate, she could do a whole lot better. So there's a lot of warning here against being too complacent.
Now, what about the larger, European region? Many are seeing this as a consequential election that not only defines if France should opt for a Frexit, styled on what the UK is doing in Brexit, if Le Pen should win. How do EU leaders look at the upcoming vote? I'm sure they're likely to prefer Macron.
Absolutely. The majority of European leaders were saying that they were very happy he had won, sending congratulations. Chancellor Angela Merkel's office said she was very happy that the pro-European candidate had won, because of course Marine Le Pen would like to pull France out of the EU. Not unanimous, of course. In the Netherlands, Geert Wilders, the extreme right leader, said he hopes that Marine Le Pen will make it through to the second round. But in general, Europeans are much more hopeful that Macron has come through and that he can win the second round, because while he says he's not convinced that Europe doesn't need reforms, he still wants some changes. He's not pushing for a Frexit by any means. And that's something that a lot of people were afraid of, because Brexit is one thing, but France is one of the two main players in Europe and one of the main founders. If France were to pull out, it would mean a very different EU if it survived at all.
All right, we shall see what happens. Elaine Cobbe there in Paris for us. Thanks very much, Elaine.